The last type of the subquery is the correlated subquery. This is where the child query is referencing back to the parent query, or by the way, when we're using the child parent, I'm trying to say the inner or outer. So if we're sticking with this example, like to verify the terminology that I'm using, this part on is going to be the one that I'm highlighting right now is the outer query, and then this one is the inner query. Or in the vice versa, this can be considered as the parent query and this one as a child query. So on the case of the correlated queries, the inner query is going to refer back to that of the outer query. In a way, it is using its join statement. So let's try to use this same example and then try to see how the correlated query is implemented. So if I copy paste this thing, and now we know that there is a relationship between a person and that of the employee. But what we do on the case of the correlated is we no more use the in, and then that would be the exists. So in the case of the exists, and we don't need this one. So where exists. So what exists does is whenever there is a true statement from this, it's going to print what is on the outer table, which means as long as the inner query returns a true statement, then it's going to return all the time like a record that is matching that true statement. If I'm running this one, for example, then you would see that I'm going to get almost every record that is available in the person because there is no any filtering because this is returning all the time a true statement. And the reason it is returning the whole of the person, that person table, is this one returns all the time a true statement for every record in the person. Mind you, there is going to be like an examination for every record if this is a corresponding true statement or not, because that's what the exist is going to do. How about like if we do just a little bit of a correlation, as the name implies, between the two, and then let me have a P over here, and let me have an E over here, where E dot entity ID equals P dot business entity ID. Now, by doing this, we are referring back to the outer query through this alias P. In this case, this is going to return a true statement only when a person record is matching the employee record. In that case, it's going to say the exit is going to return the true statement. Otherwise, it's all the time returning a false statement. Due to that, only a filtered part of the person is going to be returned. So let's run this one. And now you can see that we have only 290 rows, which means those which have a corresponding business entity ID from a person and that of the employee ID from the employee table are going to be listed down here. All the other person records which do not have the corresponding value on the employee would not be returning the record. That's why the exist is going to return false, and hence only we're going to see the values which are corresponding value of that employee. Now this would show us how the correlated subquery is working. We should have a hook which is saying something that is referring back to that of the outer query. In this case, it's going to be the width of the person. So here we can do any kind of the additional where conditions, like if I want to have only those who are like salaried, then I can say equals 1, and then if I run this, then probably I might have like a lesser one, which is going to be only 52 rows. So this is how we're going to work on the correlated subquery.